let's talk about how you currently train. Like, what was the training system that
Yeah.
you used leading up to WNBF Worlds, and break down the structure of it, maybe the split, the volume, the frequency. How do you like to do things typically?
Yeah, so I like low volume training, high intensity. That's really what I enjoy doing. So I train this year 5 times a week. So I wanted to improve the glutes mainly this year after I received my pro status. That helped with my conditioning as well from the back shots. The training splits that I like is usually back and biceps, chest and triceps and calves, and then I do quads and glutes, and then shoulders, hamstrings, calves, and abs.
Is that 5 days in a row?
I usually rest on Friday and Monday.
Okay.
So I have 2 sessions, rest and three, then rest and 2 sessions, and so on. When I turned pro, I only trained 4 times a week. Since I wasn't doing glutes, I didn't add that in my routine. I had the quads and hamstrings in the same session. That's the training splits. As far of exercise, usually I do like 4 exercises per muscle group for the larger body groups, and then 3, 2 for the smaller ones like biceps, triceps, calves. I do 1 set to failure per exercise. I warm up. Some people call them warm up sets or feeder sets. I do 1 or 2 of those depending on where I am in the session. Like if I'm warming up, it's my very first exercise. I usually go very light, and then a subsequent set that's a little heavier that prepares you for the working set. And then, go ahead.
Because sometimes people say warm-ups and then they're pretty hard and intense sets, but like, is
Yeah.
it a lot of reps in the tank that you're leaving? Is it really truly a warm-up set, or are they
Yeah.
pretty close to failure? Like,
Right.
yeah, like, are
So,
we there like 3 or 4 reps from failure, or 2 or 3 reps from failure?
yeah, at the very first warm up is very light. Yeah, it's very far from failure. The second, I call it feeder. It's typically, I would say, like 5 reps on failure. So it's preparing you for the working set. Like, somebody from outside that will see this set and think, oh, man, that's a working set. That counts. Okay. I don't typically count it just because the level of intensity of my working set is really, really, really high. So compared to that is still a warm up, okay, a feeder. So it's preparing you for the working set. If I train with someone, with my partner, Leandro, we typically do forced reps as well. So we go beyond the failure on some exercises, not all. And I should say, like, not every exercise that I do, I go to failure, like some compound movements. If I'm squatting, for example, like the back squats. Yeah, I typically keep like 1 rep to failure, those movements. But mainly I try to go to failure, but on the safe. If I'm using machines or somebody's assisting me, I go to failure beyond if somebody is there. I might do some drop sets. Now I'm experimenting with the long length partials since there is a lot of interest in the research. So it's a bit of high intensity techniques, not too much, because you might stress your CNS too much and not recover for the following sessions.
Yeah, that's understandable. You have to manage the fatigue relative to how much frequency you're going to be doing as well. If you're training 5 days per week, it's not like you can go as much as you'd like as far as the volume and intensity combined, right? Otherwise, you might not be able to recover in time for tomorrow's session, the next day's session.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
I try to also space out the session so that I might do like shoulders, which is a little bit less intense than legs right after. Also, that the training splits allows you to help with that, and try to reduce the overlap as much as possible between muscle groups, right? So that's why I do back and biceps, and then chest and triceps, reduce the overlap. It will be better, at least for me, than doing, for example, back and triceps, and then the following day do the biceps and chest, right? Because you have overlap from the previous session.
Right. Your triceps are very fatigued. It might influence your pressing in a negative way.
Correct.
Right. That's understandable. Yeah, because and what people I think should understand, yeah, of course your triceps are getting hit when you're doing back, the long head, but that's not the same as stressing your elbow extension.
Correct.
Like stressing your elbow extension with direct tricep work the day before you go and stress your any sort of pressing movement, that will have a very different effect, possibly negative, than if you don't do any sort of direct elbow extension extension work, which is what you're talking about and why you do it the way you do it, why you have back and biceps and chest and triceps, because it makes more sense for your arrangement.
Correct.
So you like to hit body parts 1 time per week as opposed to 2? Is that what I'm understanding as well from your split?
Yeah, mainly. Yeah, mainly. I tried doing multiple sessions for my shoulders. I tried to increase the volume as well and having 2 sessions, but I noticed that my progress was stopping. For example, I added 2 exercises in a following day. I noticed that my progress was stopping. And then I tried, okay, let's just add 1 exercise in this following session, and my progress improved again. But in that 1 exercise, it translates to 1 working set because that's my style. So I just incorporated the exercise in my shoulder routine, and I dedicate just 1 session to the shoulders and add 1 exercise. It didn't make sense to come back and just do 1 working set and then you have to warm up, so you keep adding 2 more sets for warm up. I can just get it done in 1 working set, add that into my shoulder session. I'm already warmed up, so I'm going straight to the working set. That way you reduce also some of the, it's called junk volume. It's what's it referred to. Probably I'll keep experimenting, but as of today, that's mainly what I do.
So as far as the improvements that you're looking to make, what are some of the things you're going to be adding in exercises, certain exercises? Is it going to be additional volume? How are you going to do things as far as your back? Because that's an area you want to bring up, right? Your back. And was there another area? Your arms a little bit, you said?
Yeah, arms probably and shoulders.
Shoulders.
Side delts, just to have that, wider appearance when you're on stage, and some of the quarter turns on the side poses. It's gonna help with that. For example, for back, I introduced a session that's different from what I'm doing. Most of the exercises that I was doing before were using supinated grip, so pull downs, bent over rows with supinated grip. I introduced also pronated grip in a different session, so I'm gonna have like a training A, I call it, and training B every other week. Training B now is having more pronated grip, and that allows you to do some shoulder adduction instead of retraction. So that's what I'm going to focus on, just to improve the width of my back. So it's similar in the sense that I'm going to do similar type of movements, but with a different grip and possibly a different width. So then mainly it's exercises. Yeah, I try to add the volume, but to a point, because I track my progress. The main way I track my progress, if I am in a caloric surplus, is noticing in my rep count, my weights, if they increase over time, because everything else is incorrect. Everything else is taken care of, like nutrition, rest, stress level. I know that everything is in check, and now my handle or measurement is how does my progress look in the gym, when I actually perform my sets, keeping the same level of strict form. What happens with my reps, with my weight? Is it improving over time or is it the same? So that's what I do, and then I try to reduce the volume and see what happens. And it is a constant progression, because the maximum volume that somebody can tolerate changes over time, increases, right, reduces. If you're in a surplus and you stay in that surplus for a long time, or you're cutting for a long time. So that's something that I still track, and yeah, definitely that's how I approach my work. And exercises, I think, is the main thing. Just throwing more volume, I don't think is the answer, because if the exercise is not targeting and stimulating the muscle correctly for whatever reason, I think you should definitely address that first.